Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
We have made the lovely Kakamega County our temporary home so as to bring you some thrilling debates. Welcome to the Great Debaters Contest. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyumbok. St. Martha's Mwitoti versus Kakamega High. The motion is the 1/3 gender rule is discriminatory. Who will be the victor?
Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes to blow our mind.
My name is Aswani Sheldon Emali, a student of Kakamega School, standing before you here today to propose this motion that says the 1/3 gender rule is discriminatory. But then comes the question, what is the 1/3 gender rule? The rule itself is coined from Chapter 7, Part 1, Article 81, Clause B of the Constitution of Kenya. And it states, not more than 2/3 of the members of public elective bodies shall be of the same gender. But then comes the question again, what's gender? Gender is the state of being either male or female. I'm male, some of you are female. That's our gender. What do we mean when we say this rule is discriminatory? This rule, when we say it's discriminatory, we mean that this is being unfair or treating a group of people or a person indifferently with others as compared to others. This rule is discriminatory to both sides, either the male or the female. It's either in regard to which side it's favoring. For example, if it's favoring the man, then it is discriminatory to the female side. And if it favors the female side, then towards men, it is discriminatory. What's democracy? This is the rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. The Constitution itself states that all public elective bodies, the slots shall be assigned to people using the elected method. Let's say we have already elected. Do we mean that if a certain gender is not represented exactly to the 2,000, let's say a third, should we drop some of the other gender so that you can fit in the others of the different gender so as to acquire these? I believe this goes against the constitutional mandate of you citizens of Kenya. We're supposed to elect, it's our say, our leaders, people who rule us. I say this rule supports chronism. And I ask, what's chronism? Chronism, I can say this, people will try to elect or nominate people who they feel are their allies, political friends, religious friends, into those public offices for their own gains. I ask a question. You as a Kenyan citizen, above 18 years of age, you have the identity card, you're supposed to vote and choose who should rule you, and not a rule imposed in this, not a rule should decide who will rule you. Thank you.
We'll now have the opposition give us their opening statements. You have 3 minutes.
I'm Baraza Ezra from St. Martha's Mwitoti Secondary School. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to strongly disagree with the argument of our brothers from Kakamega High School. I want to say this, that 1/3 gender rule at all costs is not discriminatory. 1/3 gender rule at all costs, I want to say it is not discriminatory. Why should I say so? Gender is a range of characteristics pertaining to and differentiating masculinity and femininity. So when we talk about gender, it's a set of characteristics differentiating between masculinity and femininity. And therefore, gender equality is the key principle underlying the protection of women's rights. Gender equality is the key principle underlying the protection of women's rights. Therefore, I want to strongly oppose this motion by saying that 1/3 gender rule is not discriminatory at all costs. I have heard my friends say that democracy. When you talk about democracy, the issue of electing dear ones, electing representatives, I am saying it is not discriminating or favoring any other community, because I want to believe that every gender is given power to be involved into elections. Therefore, it is not discriminating. There is nowhere in the Constitution where a certain gender is only allowed to participate in democracy and the other one is not allowed. Therefore, I want to say this, that every gender can come up and participate in democracy, and therefore, at all costs, it is not discriminatory. What happens is that perhaps one gender may not be willing to participate in elections or to participate in appointments. And two, I want to say this, that the problem is that one gender is not discriminated. Why do I say this? It is because, look at this example. Only one gender is unwilling to participate. For example, we had elections in Kabete recently, and we discovered that only male applied to the Commission of Elections, as they were willing to become members of parliament. And therefore, when the elections were there, only members were voted for. Where were women? Therefore, if women sit aside unwilling to participate in elections, that one does not guarantee us right to say that it is discriminatory. What we say is that one gender is unwilling to participate, not that one gender has been discriminated. Because I am sure the IEBC Commission never at all costs say that women should not apply. Therefore, they are just unwilling.
We'll now hear rebuttals. Proposers, you have 3 minutes.
It's good to clarify this. Gender is not all about women. Gender is both female and male. And this rule, it is discriminatory depending on if we're having more males being favored, then the females are the ones disadvantaged. If you're having more males favored, more females favored, then the males are the ones who are going to be disadvantaged. Now, logically, how can we say that the members of a particular gender have refused to vote? Can you imagine in 2017 waking up and then the women or the men in Kenya say we are not going to vote? Is that logical? My first speaker said this rule is very, very, very undemocratic. Why? While democracy aims at equality and equity, the 1/3 gender rule aims at forcing us to conform to its proportionality of numbers. It disrespects the universal suffrage, whereby the vote, the power of the people to vote, is not considered. If Kenya votes more females than males, that is not considered. What is considered is the proportion provided by this 1/3 gender rule. Now, do you know that this rule is disadvantageous to some gender against others in the desire to satisfy equity irrespective of qualifications or competence? It measures on gender rather than values. It measures on gender rather than competence. It measures on gender rather than credibility for any given elective public body. And it's not only elective, it is also very biased to any appointive public body. I will give you a very simple example. We are having 9 members, 9 slots for a given public body. And the people with the correct qualifications are only men. Now, do we lay off 3 qualified men, so that we refill the slots with 3 unqualified women? And then, I want you to leave you with this question. If we are having those 9 positions and it's 9 women who are qualified, do we lay off 3 women so that we can have 3 men qualifying this? Please know this. Whatever there is, shall go to those who deserve, not what we are forced to own or what belongs to you by right. Thank you once again.
Opposition will now hear your rebuttal. You also have 3 minutes.
I'm Finface Kamaharo from St. Martha's Mwitoti. I disagree with this man. The truth is this. If you are less qualified than a man or a woman and you are fighting for the same job, should I give you because of your gender? Should I give you because of your gender? I've said the truth is this. If you are less qualified than a man or a woman, should I give you because of your gender? No, I'm disagreeing with you. This is because my first point, basing on the traditional African society, it is believed that women are weaker compared to men. And it is clear in our Kenya of today. When we look at the points for university entries, women are favored more compared to men. It is also clear in our holy books like the Bible, in the book of Genesis chapter 3 verse 16. It says that man shall rule over women. So I don't see any discrimination there. So this rule isn't discrimination. Another point is that a woman has everything to fight for her. Like some inside here, you all have the integrity and intelligence to fight for your right. Is it so? Let's take an instance that a man has good grade to fight for a certain job and a lady does not have that qualification to fight for that job. Now, shall we give this lady because of her gender? No, we cannot give that lady that job because she's a lady. No, we will base on the qualification of that job. On this side, I think you're on the wrong side. This gender role isn't discriminating. It's only that women do not want to expose themselves so that they don't want to expose themselves to fight for this position. Let's take, for instance, in the parliament. Women do not want to expose themselves so that they can take part in the parliamentary system. Let's take, for instance, how many women are senators in this Kenya? None. How many governors are women in this Kenya? None. Why? Because they don't want to fight for their rights. They do not want to take part in those places. Now why shall we give them? Because they are women? Thank you.
Tazama, ewe pesa, kipenzi cha pesa, twakuyanza. Tukikutazama, ewe pesa, kipenzi cha pesa, twakuyanza.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The debaters have been given questions from the audience. They will be responding shortly. The proposition have been asked what they would do in the event that someone was ineffective, yet they were unwilling to do the job which they were given. And of course, the opposition have been asked, is it okay for women to stand aside and let men take over while the Bible is for them? We'll now have the debaters respond to the questions. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
Honorable judges, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, my name is Rading Michael from Kakamega School. I'd like to respond to your question, which is very interesting. You've asked that if someone is chosen or picked upon and he or she is unwilling to work, hence proves to become inefficient, will that person be laid off or what are we going to do? Let me tell you something. If someone is chosen and is unwilling to work and has proved to be inefficient, that person will be laid off. Another person who can work will be put there. Therefore, you support us in saying that the motion is discriminatory. Thank you.
Okay, we'll have the opposition respond to the audience's question.
Mostino Niga from Mwitoti. I want to answer the question that do you suppose women should lay back since the Bible says so? I want to answer this question in this proverb. There's an African proverb that says that an arrow must draw back for it to go ahead. So I think the answer is answered. The question is answered, sorry. So I want to say, gender role requirement is provided for in the Constitution. So it is very important for both men and women to have equal rights, whereby you have political rights, social rights, and cultural rights. When you say a third gender rule, we are not necessarily meaning that out of maybe 10, a third of them may be of the different gender. We are saying that at least one. For example, in a parliament, maybe we have 4 MPs. Those 4 MPs, all of them are men. And another parliament, we have again 4 MPs. On those 4 MPs, one is a lady. Where is discrimination? I think you'll answer that one. When we were fighting for this constitution that was amended in 2010, it was like we wanted 50-50 shares, whereby women should have 50 shares, men 50 shares. But this is a threshold. We cannot achieve this. So the constitution gave a minimum of a third, not meaning a third of the total, but at least one should be of the different gender. This a third does not necessarily mean a third of the total, as I have said. What are some of the consequences or some of the challenges that a country may face, whereby a third, all of the members in a given body who are appointed or elected are of the same gender? Let's take an example of Egypt. You remember the time when in Egypt, they had specified a third of the seats for a different gender. But we see there was this Supreme Court minister who tried to violate that rule, and he picked up all the seats, he gave to the men. What happened? Elections were carried out again. So do you want us in 2017, maybe we have no women centers? For now, we have women centers, I agree that one, but we have no woman who is a governor. We have 47 women county reps. But this still does not qualify for the third gender rule.
We'll now hear closing remarks, beginning with the proposers. You have 1 minute.
Once again, my name is Redding Michael from Kakamega School. First of all, I'd like to correct the second speaker. She said that we don't have any senator that is a woman in Kenya. As a point of information, let me inform you that we have Leonala Lesuda, who is the senator to Samburu County. Have that in mind. From the book, The Caucasian Chalk Circle, it is stated that the home of the Soviet people shall also be the home of reason. Therefore, I stand here not only to articulate my point, but also to engage our minds, because this is a creative process that requires unity of purpose. Let me pose a question to the opposing team. A very interesting lineup. The lady, are you inferior to him? No, you're not. He's also not superior to you. Therefore, why should one of you be given a third of an opportunity at the expense of the other? Thank you very much.
Opposition, you also have 1 minute for your final remarks.
Thank you so much. I'm still Baraza Ezra from Mwitoti. I wish to say this, kindly, ladies and gentlemen. Our brother has said that there is nobody who is superior, and therefore he asked me a question: why should one be given a third and the other one 2/3? I wish to ask you a question. If there is nobody superior and there is nobody willing to take that position. Should we leave it bending? We need to give hope to both genders, and we need to encourage competition. I want to strongly disagree that 1/3 gender is discriminatory. I am saying this, and I'm saying this, that at least 1/3 gender is not discriminatory because at least there is a representation. I want to say this, it is a starting point for the weaker gender. It is a starting point, and I want to inform you that now that it is a starting point, perhaps in the future the gender proportion shall rise up. For example, in Rwanda, it started with a low representation. Then as we speak now, it is at 56% representation of women. Therefore, I want to strongly disagree that this law is not discriminatory in any way or in any form. Thank you.
My first question to Kakamega was, just look across the opposing team and the composition of the members, and then you'll have a very strong point. And I appreciate Radin because he concluded by looking at them and telling them of the same thing. That was very lovely. I think you make a very good cross-examiner in a way, because you also cross-examine the fact that we have women senators, and that was very commendable. Nganga, you also come in very well. I think you understood your role as well, and you know, the first thing is that you're strikingly smart when you come to the stage. You know, just looking at where your tie is compared to the others, you know. Very good cross-examination. I like the fact that you simplified the motion and brought it home. And your mastery of topic was very well understood because you could confidently argue out your points. Aswani as well, very composed, well-explained terms. I love the fact that you also invoked the Constitution. And, you know, just your appearance, the way you come on board, just check on that. But nonetheless, you're very good as well. All the best to the two teams.
St. Martha, Austin, you need to work on your delivery and you need to work on your economy of words. You know, in a debate, the moment you come with volume of words, you easily lose your audience. So try and be simple, be clear, be precise and concise for good delivery. Ezra, you appealed to block ones, that is the rights of women. But apart from that, what else did you table in support of the motion? And you repeat yourself a lot, especially I want to say that I want to phrase can easily be omitted. Work on your delivery, work on your language, so that when you're doing your submission, it becomes easy. Nonetheless, I saw passion in you, and passion is one of the things that we credit for a debater. I said in overall, a fairly good submission. To the two teams, it was a fair debate, only that if we see more teamwork and more logic in support of the motion, then you can be credited more. But on the side of Kakamega High, I saw logic fairly well. But on the side of St. Martha, there was a lot that you could do in order to boost your presentation.
If I was on the opposing side, the question I would ask you is, if you say this rule is not discriminatory and it is, women, and you really demonize women, in your presentation, if it is not discriminatory, then what are the provisions in place that assure both gender that when they're applying or, standing up to be elected into some of these provisions, that it is fair? And the reason why the rule came into place was not so much for women, but for either gender. Because there's no level playing field. And so to take care of some of those interests, for example, we have 47 counties and they all have senators who are all men. But to be able to take care of that, there are 16 elected or nominated senators by their parties in order of their relative strength. And that provision is there to be able to take care of some of those areas where, the level playing field has not, the playing field has not been evened, so that it gives both gender an opportunity to stand up and be elected, or, to be appointed.
St. Martha's, Mwitoti. The judges awarded you 60%. Please give them a round of applause. For our hosts, Kakamega High School, the judges awarded you 68.3%. You are our winners for the debate.
We'd like to congratulate Kakamega High for the wonderful job and the great debate. From all of us here at Kakamega High School, we'd like to thank you for watching the Great Debaters Contest. Remember to follow us on Twitter @GreatDebatersEA. And of course, our thanks go out to Safaricom M-Pesa and to KBC Channel 1. Keep watching. I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. Stay tuned.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.